Okay, so in this next phase, what we're going to do is we're going to have balls that are served to us. The idea being that we just work with the ball that's static on the ground, concentrating on stepping forward with our knee, making sure that we're bent at the hips, making sure our shoulders get down and our fingers get underneath the ball, really concentrating on those elbows being in tight, all that stuff. Now, the next progression is, let's have some serves brought into us. All right, usually have your server roughly 10 yards, anywhere between 8 to 10 yards away, and start kind of slow with it. And as the working goalkeeper starts to feel more comfortable utilizing the technique with the serve like this, then you can pick up the speed a bit. But make sure that the working goalkeeper is in charge of the speed though. Let them dictate whether the ball gets served faster or slower based on how comfortable they are. Okay, so we'll do 5 here. We'll have the ball served in, and whether I step with my right or whether I step with my left, it's solely going to be dictated on which side of the ball, or which side of my body that the ball is. If the ball's on the left side of my body, I'll step out with my left knee. If the ball's slightly off to the right, I'll step out slightly with the right knee. All right, here we go. It's 1, 2. And see, very difficult serve, all right, because it's wide of me, but it's still not far enough where I want to collapse down onto my side. So the idea being that I've got to make sure I really step in behind that ball, get in behind it, and when I take my forward dive, I still am going forward because I'm on the front side of my body, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going forward that way all the time. In this particular case, because it's wide of my body and that far wide of my body, I'll take my forward dive out there just like that. Round 3, here we go. Good. 2 more. Good. Last one. Good. And you notice how I'm always going forward, always attacking. It's something I'm never going to allow the ball just to come to me. I'm going to actually try to attack it by moving forward as I take it, okay? Still, again, making sure that the ball is secured here to my chest, making sure it's tight before I move forward, but constantly going forward nonetheless. Now, let's take it to the next level, all right? Same thing, we're going to stand from our feet though, work it. So if I can have a ball here, please. Okay? Same thing that we did from our knees, okay? But now we're going to do it from our feet. And in this first phase, we're going to do something called shaping, which is basically just informing the muscles. And we talked before in other videos about how the muscles have memory, just like your brain does. With this portion of it, same principle. We're trying to help the muscles learn the shape of our body, which is why we call it shaping. So you take a ball and you just sit it here, and we'll work nice and easy. You could do this for anywhere between 30 seconds, 60 seconds at a time usually. Anything longer than that, a lot of times, especially with young players, it tends to become a little bit strenuous on their thighs. But you're going to keep a ball nice and stationary like this. I'll go here in a good position. I'll make sure I get low like this. Right foot is slightly out, outside of my shoulder line and slightly forward. And I'm just going to be here like this. And I'm going to set for 60 seconds, okay? For the profile, it's very like this, right? My hands aren't impeded by my feet, and my elbows are in between my knees there, so my elbows aren't impeded anyway, and my fingertips are underneath the ball. And you just sit, just like this, for anywhere between 30 and 60 seconds, all right? Just like that. Now, one thing to look out for, if you're a coach, your goalkeeping coach, and you've got your students doing this, be very careful they don't try to cheat. You see, especially a lot of young goalkeepers who love to cheat like this. They'll take the backs of their hands and they'll rest their body weight on the backs of their hands. So they get down like this, hips are low, everything's good, but then they try to rest, putting all the pressure on the back side of their hands on the ground. All right? And really, it's not doing themselves any good. The idea is to force these thighs to work. You want them under pressure and stress, all right, in order to get them strong and in order to get the body used to sitting in that position when they're about to take this. So make sure that the backs of their hands aren't resting on the ground. You want their fingers underneath the ball like this, okay, but you don't want them sitting on the ground like that. So you just sit here like that. All right? And if I go the left foot, all right, I'll do it here. I just bring my left foot out, I'm down here, you know, nice and easy like that. All right? Fingers under the ball, 30 to 60 seconds again, and I just sit here. All right? Make sure that the waist is down. Don't let the waist be high. where the butt's sticking up in the air and the bend is coming more so from the waist than it is from the knees. It should be evenly balanced. The bend at the waist is even balanced in terms of the bend at the knees. All right? One thing we got to really be careful of, and this is a technique that's taught to a lot of goalkeepers around the world, England in particular. I've worked with a number of English goalkeepers, and they have this habit of doing this. The ball's coming in, they want to turn that inside one of these legs inside into that position or into this position. And the reason you've really got to be careful of this, all right, this is a technique that was demonstrated during the 60s and 70s. It was before science really became prevalent in terms of the biomechanics of sport and understanding how motions of the body and the positions of the body affect the outcome of what you're trying to accomplish. When you do this, let's say my left leg comes in like this, and I turn like this. My hips and shoulders, in order to do that, have to turn. All right, to keep them straight like this, to keep my hips and shoulders straight to you, but turn that leg is extremely awkward. And if you don't believe me, just try it at home. Try going like that and see how comfortable you feel. Now bend down and try to pick up a ball and see how comfortable you feel. It's not very comfortable at all. In order to accomplish it, you have to turn the hips and shoulders as well. Okay? If you're going to turn the hips and shoulders as well, one shoulder is further back than the other shoulder. You got one shoulder ahead of you. Okay? One shoulder is farther ahead, and that means that one hand is further ahead. Now if you got one hand further ahead than the other, ball's here, how are you supposed to catch that ball evenly? Right? If my hips and shoulders are square to the ball like this, my hands are here, my hands are even. They're in even balance. One is not ahead of the other in any way, shape, or form. So it hits both hands simultaneously. If I'm turned here like this, now I've got one hand out in front of the other, hits that first hand, the second hand hasn't made contact yet, comes here and goes there, like this. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but you've seen it in the World Cup with England's goalkeeper Robert Green against the Americans. I only give 80% of the blame, right? The other half of the blame I give to the coaching in England because it's not correct. It's something that they've been taught a long time, but in terms of the actual physical biomechanics of it, position of your body parts at that time, right, make it detrimental to this moment. So you've got to really be careful. Don't recommend turning in here like this. Okay, so now after we're done shaping, we'll go to the fourth phase. The fourth phase is basically doing what we did from the knees, but we're going to do it from a standing position. So I'm going to be here, just like this. Make sure the ball is close. I'll be in a set position, and for the first three, I'm just going to concentrate on stepping out with my right foot, slightly ahead and off to the side of the ball, getting low, scooping underneath it, and taking it out at a forward dive, just with the ball at a static position. So I go here, here, there. Okay, let's go again, round number 2. So I'm set, my weight is on my toes, here, step, scoop, go. Alright, notice the elbows are always tight, the hands are always side by side, always striving for perfection in everything we do. Here, here, good. Okay, now let's go off to the left side. Change it up a little bit. Instead of stepping with the right, now we're going to step forward slightly with the left. Here, good. Yep. You got to be careful when you do this that the ball isn't too far forward of you. Your point of contact when you attempt this technique, your point of contact should be just even with your front foot. If the ball is way out there and you have to take this big giant stride, it puts you out of balance. So from your starting position, you only want the ball maybe 10 to 12 inches out ahead of you. All right, round 2 of this. Here, here, good. There. And again. From here, step, scoop, here we go.